The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus summoned the crowd again and said to them, "Hear me, all of you, and understand. Nothing that enters one from outside can defile that person, but the things that come out from within are what defile." When he got home away from the crowd, his disciples questioned him about the parable. He said to them, "Are even you likewise without understanding? Do you not realize that everything that goes into a person from outside cannot defile, since it enters not the heart but the stomach and passes out into the latrine?" Thus he declared all foods clean. But what comes out of the man, that is what defiles him. From within the man, from his heart, come evil thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, folly. All these evils come from within, and they defile. The Gospel of the Lord. Yeah, the positioning of this passage next to the one that we heard previously is itself significant, right? This is where the religious rulers of Jesus' day, I shouldn't say, the religio-political rulers of Jesus' day, or even perhaps better, the political pressure group or groups of Jesus' day are after him and his disciples because they're not washing their hands before meals, they're not observing certain ritual cleansings, and Jesus has already kind of batted them back to say, yeah, I'm not so sure that you're as concerned about the law, the scriptures, what God is revealing. I'm not so sure that you're as concerned about that as you are about enriching yourselves, because you've taken all these, you've implemented all these rules to sidestep some of the most significant commandments of the law in order to profit yourselves financially from the people. Okay, ritual purity. And Jesus' pushback on the people who are trying to not only implement but kind of ratchet up those particular rules and laws, and then he moves into this part of it where he's taking it on from a little bit of a different angle, or to giving some like a better approach to understand why ritual purity laws exist, and not simply, clearly here, not simply for the sake of hygiene, right? Although it's significant enough for the time, and of course goes along with the development of those laws, right? When something happens to someone as a consequence of poor hygiene habits, it becomes important on the culture to implement better hygiene habits to prevent those bad things from happening, not only to the person who, I don't know, contracts a certain disease, but for the people that they come in contact with. Yeah, and we know there's a whole network of purity laws. Even if you haven't watched The Chosen, I got you again. But you know that there's a whole system of purity laws and the like in order to stop the spread of contagion in that time. And if you don't kind of readily recall that, just think back to some of the more hysterical approaches to COVID and its whatever. Okay, anyway. So you understand the need for it, yeah. But Jesus is saying, actually, it's not so simple. This is not a surface reality. In fact, the necessity of purity laws and their being in existence points actually to something much deeper still. There's something deeply wrong with us. Yeah, this is what Jesus is offering. Yeah, there's something deeply wrong with us. And the purity laws and regulations, and I would say not just the purity laws and regulations, but any kind of, any kind of ready-made agenda that is kind of put in front of you as check boxes to, okay, yeah, I've done that, I'm good, is perhaps not doing the right thing, right? It's easy enough to paper over the cracks and say, okay, like, I don't feel safe, I'm going to do this thing, now I feel safe. Yeah, that's at the heart of a lot of mental illness. I shouldn't have said that. No, yeah, it's at the heart of a lot of mental illness. It's at the heart of a lot of our I didn't call you mentally ill. Okay, so it's at the heart of a lot of what we do. Yeah, because we're sick. We're sick. It's at the heart of a lot of what we do in terms of our attempts to self-save. So we're trying to save ourselves. Why? We don't feel terribly secure. And guess what? I don't know that we should feel terribly secure. I mean, it doesn't take an atheist scientist to say something like, we are cosmic orphans. Or think about our size in relation to the universe, right? Not even a speck of dust. That's me. I feel pretty vulnerable to the idea of non-being. I feel pretty vulnerable to when I consider the sheer size of the universe. I just feel very insignificant and all that. But we're not going to get into my psychological issues. I mean, this is not the point. The point is that I think that we have some common experience of yes, being, but also feeling unsafe, and we want to get around that, or let me be firm, let me be secure, let me be safe, let me be right. And a lot of what is proposed to us in these particular agendas, there might be a lot of good things in there, but there are also like the compulsion, right? The compulsory aspect of any number of these things indicate that something else is going on, self-saving. Yeah, and here we see Jesus is offering this. Okay, yeah, you're deeply broken, and the purity laws point to that, but it's not the answer. He doesn't give the answer, though, does he? Not in this passage. The answer is the coming kingdom of God. The answer is Jesus himself. Yeah, like look at the disorder. Yeah, this is our hearts. Some people say follow your heart. Right? This is like a common kind of worldly mantra, follow your heart, follow your heart. Okay, well, out of the heart come evil thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery. If that's what's in our heart, don't follow your heart. Okay? Not around here anyway. No, don't do it. Okay, but not doing it. Now think again. Not doing those things, that's still pretty surface level. Isn't it? And if there are laws and rules and regulations and whatever that prevent us from doing those things, good, but not exactly good enough. Yeah? Not exactly good enough. The point is not that Jesus came so that we would all perform a bit better morally. That's not really the point, right? The point is that Jesus came so that we could have the healing that we need to be the restored image bearers that we were made to be. That's his project. Right? His project is to have man live at the intersection of heaven and earth, bringing heaven to earth. That's much more than like just behaving. Like we should behave, yeah. And sometimes it's like keeping some of these things like in proper order and checking our inordinate appetites and making sure our disorders don't run rampant in what we do, in what we think, and what we say, and what we do. That's all very significant because it probably gives Jesus an opportunity to get in there and be working with us. And the signs of those disorders again ought to point back to our deep need for healing, and the answer to I don't know, to pull us together out of our brokenness. So I don't know. This is it. Jesus himself is the answer. And it's our being in relationship with him and allowing him to do what he wants to do in our hearts and in our lives that holds us together and allows us to be people on mission with him, and allows us to find our place in God's plan, allows us to be the renewed image bearers that he's intended us to be. But we have to keep, for us, the focus is Jesus. Again, he's the answer. And I think here all kind of provisional answers, you come face to face with Jesus, and all provisional answers kind of fall away. Right? He's saying here that some of these purity laws don't apply anymore. He's saying that some of the food laws Things that got Israel's martyrs killed, right? They refused to eat pork. He seems to be throwing that out the window, right? I mean, that's the commentary that Mark offers. He's not concerned about that anymore. But it's not because those things were wrong. It's because those things pointed to Jesus. But now we're face to face with Jesus. And so the signposts, they did their job. We don't need them anymore. But we have to stay focused on him. Yeah, we have to stay focused on Jesus. We have to live our whole life in that intimate relationship that we've been called to have with him. He's the source of our life. He's the source of our strength. He has called us for his purposes. And now he gives us everything we need in order to live that purpose-filled or purpose-oriented life with him. Yeah, and if ever we become discouraged that, we know we have these thoughts in our hearts, or, if not these worse things or things like this. We have this in our heart, but we come before Jesus bearing our heart. We come before him to make an offering of our heart no matter where we are, and he encounters us where we are. And he breathes new life into us that dissolves our bronze hearts, right? He breathes new life into us that warms our cold hearts, or really better, that gives life to our dead hearts. And then giving life to us, right, making us again his renewed image bearers. We are able to live at the intersection of heaven and earth. We are able to be people about his mission to bring heaven to earth.